Maya Rodriguez walked slowly down the street. Her feet felt heavy, like they were made of stone. She carried a small box in her arms. Inside the box were her things from the animal hospital where she used to work. A coffee mug, some pictures, a small plant that never got enough sunlight. The morning had started like any other Tuesday. Maya had put on her white coat and gotten ready to check on the sick animals. But then Dr. Collins had called her into his office. His face looked sad and tired. "Maya, I'm sorry," he had said. "We have to let you go. The hospital is losing money. We can't pay all the doctors anymore." Maya had stared at him. She had worked at Riverside Animal Hospital for 6 years. She loved helping sick cats and dogs. She knew every corner of that building. Now it was gone. "When do I have to leave?" she had asked. "Today," Dr. Collins had said. "I'm really sorry, Maya. You're a good doctor, but we don't have a choice." So here she was, walking home with her box of things. The sun was shining, but Maya felt cold inside. She was 32 years old. She had spent so much time studying to become a vet. Now she had no job and very little money in the bank. Her small apartment waited for her. Bills sat on the kitchen table. Rent was due next week. Maya put the box down and looked at the pile of papers. Electric bill, phone bill, credit card bill. The numbers seemed to grow bigger. As she looked at them, she needed to find a new job fast. But the newspaper had very few ads for vets. The internet. Job sites showed the same thing. Maybe she would have to move to another city. Maybe she would have to give up being a vet and do something else. Maya felt tears coming to her eyes. She had always wanted to help animals. Even as a little girl, she had brought home hurt birds and stray cats. Her mother had always said, "Maya cares too much about everything." Maybe caring too much was the problem. The walls of her apartment felt like they were closing in. Maya needed air. She needed to walk. She grabbed her keys and went outside. Oakwood Park was only a few blocks away. Maya had gone there many times when she needed to think. The trees were old and tall. There was a small pond where ducks lived. Usually the park made her feel better. She walked on the path that went around the pond. A few people were sitting on benches, feeding the ducks. Children played on the swings. Everything looked normal and peaceful. Maya kept walking until she reached the wooded part of the park. Here, the trees grew closer together. The path was quieter. She could hear birds singing in the branches above her. Then she heard something else, a sound that didn't belong. It was a cry of pain, low and deep, like a wounded animal. But it was unlike any animal sound Maya had ever heard. She stopped walking and listened. The sound came again. It was coming from deeper in the woods, away from the path. Maya knew she should probably go back. The woods could be dangerous, but she was a vet. When an animal was hurt, she had to help. She pushed through the bush and small trees. Branches caught on her jacket. Leaves crunched under her feet. The sound got louder as she got closer. Then she saw it. Maya stopped and stared. Her mind tried to make sense of what she was looking at. It was big, maybe the size of a horse. It had scales that caught the light and seemed to glow. Wings were folded against its back, but she could see they were torn. Blood dripped from cuts on its body. The creature was caught in metal traps. Thick wires held its legs. More wires were wrapped around its neck and wings. Someone had set snares in the woods. Illegal hunting traps that hurt animals. But this was no normal animal. The creature looked up at Maya with large golden eyes. Those eyes were smart. They showed pain and fear, but also something else. Hope. Maya's heart was beating fast. This couldn't be real. Things like this didn't exist. Dragons were only in stories and movies. But here was one, real and hurt, and looking at her Dot, she took a step back. The creature made a soft sound, almost like a whimper. It was asking for help. Maya was scared. She was confused. But she was also a vet. Every fiber of her being told her to help this hurt animal, no matter what it was. She moved closer. The creature didn't try to attack her. It just watched her with those golden eyes. Maya could see the traps were cutting into its skin. If she didn't help soon, it might die. "It's okay," she said softly. "I'm going to help you." The creature tilted. Its head, like it was listening. Like it understood, Maya always carried a small emergency kit in her backpack. She had bandages, scissors, and some basic tools. She got down on her knees next to the creature. "This might hurt a little," she said, "but I need to get these traps off you." She started with the wire around the creature's neck. It was tight and had cut into the scales. Maya worked carefully, using her scissors to cut the wire. The creature held very still. As she worked, something strange happened. Pictures began to form in Maya's mind. She saw stars in space. She saw huge ships flying between planets. She saw beings like this creature, but healthy and strong, living in beautiful places. The creature was trying to talk to her, not with words, but with thoughts and images. Maya cut the last wire and stepped back. The creature slowly stood up. It was even bigger than she had thought. Its wings spread wide, and she could see they were beautiful, even with the tears in them. The creature looked at her and bowed its head. Then it spoke, not with its voice, but in her mind. "Thank you," the voice said. "I am Zephyr. You have saved my life." Maya sat down hard on the ground. She was talking to a dragon. A real dragon. And somehow, her terrible day had just become the most amazing day of her life. Maya stared at the dragon, called Zephyr. Her hands were shaking. She had heard his voice in her head, clear as day. This was impossible. Dragons didn't exist. They certainly didn't talk to people. But here he was, looking at her with those golden eyes, waiting. "You can really talk to me?" Maya asked out loud. The dragon nodded. "I can share thoughts with you. It is a gift my people have. We can speak with those who have kind hearts." Maya's mind was spinning. "Your people? There are more. Like you? Many more. We live far from this world. I came here to explore, but my ship was attacked. I crashed in your woods." Zephyr's voice in her head sounded tired and sad. Maya looked at his wounds. They were deep and bleeding. The wires had cut through his scales in several places. His wings had tears that would need careful treatment. "You need medical help," Maya said, "but I can't take you to a hospital. People would panic. They might hurt you." "I cannot go where others would see me," Zephyr agreed. "My people have rules. We are not supposed to make contact with humans. If they knew I was here, then we'll have to hide you," Maya said. The words came out before she could think about them. "I have a shed behind my apartment. It's small, but it might work." Zephyr looked surprised. "You would help me? Even though I am not human?" "You're hurt," Maya said simply. "That's all that matters." Getting Zephyr to her apartment was not easy. They had to wait until it was dark. Maya went home first and moved her car and some old boxes out of the shed. She put down old blankets and set up some lights. When night came, she went back to the woods. Zephyr was weaker now. The blood loss was making him dizzy. Maya had to help him walk the few blocks to her apartment. "This is very dangerous for you," Zephyr said as they slowly made their way through the dark streets. "If people find out you are helping me ... "Let me worry about that," Maya said. "Right now, you need to get better." The shed was just big enough for Zephyr to lie down. Maya brought water and her medical supplies. She had treats for animals, but she didn't know what a dragon would eat. I can eat many things, Zephyr said, reading her thoughts. Fruits, vegetables, some meats. I am not hard to feed. Maya spent the next hour cleaning his wounds. Zephyr was very patient, even when she had to stitch some of the deeper cuts. His scales were harder than she expected, but her veterinary training helped her figure out how to work with them. You are very skilled, Zephyr said. Are you a healer among your people? I'm a veterinarian. I help sick animals. Maya paused. Well, I was. I lost my job today. That is why you were sad when you found me. Yes. Maya didn't ask how he knew that. The connection between them seemed to let him sense her feelings dot as she worked. Zephyr began to share more images with her. She saw his home world, a place, with floating cities and crystal towers. She saw other dragons flying through clouds that sparkled with rainbow colors. She saw huge ships that traveled between stars. How long have your people been watching Earth? Maya asked. Many of your years. We have seen your people grow and change. Some of us think you are ready to know about the larger universe. Others think you are too violent. Maya thought about that. Humans did fight a lot. Wars, crime, cruelty. It was all over the news every day. What do you think? She asked. Zephyr was quiet for a moment. I think anyone who would risk their safety to help a wounded stranger has a good heart. But I am just one dragon. The decision is not mine to make. For the next 3 weeks, Maya took care of Zephyr. She went to the store and bought fruits and vegetables. She used her savings to buy medical supplies. Every morning before looking for a new job, she would check on him. Every evening, she would spend hours in the shed, changing his bandages. And talking with him, Zephyr told her about the galaxy. There were hundreds of worlds with intelligent life. Some looked like humans. Others were very different. They had formed a council to keep peace between worlds. Earth is being watched, Zephyr explained. The council will decide if humans are ready to join the galactic community. What happens if they decide we're not ready? Then Earth will be left alone for many more years. Maybe centuries. Maya thought that sounded lonely. All those wonderful worlds and amazing beings, and humans would never meet them. Is there anything that could change their minds? She asked. Perhaps, if they saw that humans could be trusted. If they saw that you could put aside your own needs to help others. Maya looked at Zephyr. His wounds were healing well. His scales were starting to shine again. His wings were mending. Like helping a wounded dragon? Like helping a wounded dragon, Zephyr agreed. As the days passed, Maya began to feel less worried about her job situation. She was still sending out applications, but somehow it didn't seem as important. She was doing something that mattered. She was helping save a life. More than that, she was learning about the universe in ways she never dreamed possible. Zephyr taught her about star navigation, about the different types of worlds, about the careful balance that kept peace between species. You would make a good ambassador, he told her one evening. What's an ambassador? Someone who speaks for their people. Someone who helps different species understand each other. Maya laughed. I can barely get humans to understand each other. How could I talk to aliens the same way you talk to me, with an open heart and a desire to help? On the 20th day, something changed. Maya was checking Zephyr's wounds when she noticed a small device on his neck glowing. What is that? She asked. Zephyr looked worried. It is a rescue beacon. When I am fully healed, it will activate. My people will come looking for me. That's good, right? You can go home. Yes, but ... Zephyr hesitated. They will want to know how I survived. They will want to know who helped me. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. What will happen to me? I do not know. No human has ever had contact with my people before. It will be ... complicated. The beacon was getting brighter each day. Maya knew their time together was running out. She had grown fond of Zephyr. He was kind and wise and funny. Talking with him was like having a conversation with a very smart friend. But more than that, he had given her a sense of purpose she had never felt before. Even when she was working as a vet, she had helped one animal at a time. Now she felt like she was part of something bigger. "Are you scared?" Zephyr asked one evening. Maya thought about it. A little, but also excited. "If your people are coming, maybe this is the start of something wonderful." "You are very brave, Maya Rodriguez." "I'm just doing what feels right. That is what makes you brave." The beacon was now glowing so brightly that Maya had to cover it with a cloth. Any day now, Zephyr's people would come. Maya had no idea what would happen to her, but she knew she didn't regret helping him. She had saved a dragon's life. Whatever came next, that was something she would always be proud of. Maya was making breakfast when the sky went dark. She looked out her kitchen window and saw something that made her drop her coffee mug. 4 enormous ships were floating above her apartment building. They were nothing like the spaceships in movies. These were beautiful, like floating palaces made of light and metal. Each one was different, but all of them were incredible. "They're here," Zephyr said in her mind. She could feel his excitement and nervousness. Maya ran to the shed. Zephyr was standing up, looking much better than when she first found him. His scales shone with health. His wings were healed. The beacon around his neck was glowing like a small sun. "What do I do?" Maya asked. "Be yourself," Zephyr said. "Show them the same kindness you showed me." "But what if they're angry? What if they think I hurt you?" "They have been watching, Maya. They know what you did. They know you saved my life." Before Maya could ask what he meant, the air in the shed began to shimmer. 4 beams of light came down from the ships above. In each beam, a figure appeared. Maya's breath caught in her throat. These were the most beautiful beings she had ever seen. The first looked almost human, but her hair was silver, and her eyes glowed with soft light. She wore robes that seemed to be made of starlight. The second was tall and made of what looked like living crystal. Light moved through his body like water. When he moved, he made a sound like wind chimes. The third was harder to look at directly. She seemed to be made of pure energy, her form shifting and flowing like smoke. But her presence felt warm and wise. The fourth was Zephyr, but he looked different now. His scales had patterns Maya hadn't noticed before. He wore a collar of precious metals. He looked ... royal. "Maya Rodriguez," the silver-haired woman said. Her voice was like music. "I am Captain Lyra Starwind of the Avalon Dominion. We have come to speak with you." Maya's knees felt weak. Hello. We know who you are," said the crystal being. His voice sounded like stones tumbling in a stream. "I am Ambassador Korvac of the Titanforge Collective. We have watched your actions with great interest." The energy being stepped forward. When she spoke, her voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. "I am High Scholar Vex of the Mindbridge Union. You have done something remarkable, Maya Rodriguez." Maya looked at Zephyr. "I just helped a hurt animal. A hurt person. You helped a stranger," Zephyr said gently. "A being unlike any you had ever seen. You could have walked away. You could have called your authorities. Instead, you risked your own safety to heal me." "We are the Galactic Council," Captain Starwind explained. "We decide when new worlds are ready to join the galactic community. Earth has been under consideration for many years. But there have been concerns," Ambassador Korvac said. "Your species has a history of violence. Wars, hatred, cruelty to other species on your own world." Maya felt her heart sink. "So you've decided we're not ready?" "We were leaning that way," High Scholar Vex said. until Prince Zephyr sent his distress signal. Prince? Maya stared at Zephyr. You're a prince? Zephyr looked embarrassed. I am the third son of the Dragon Emperor. I did not tell you because I wanted you to help me as a person, not as royalty. When Prince Zephyr was captured by poachers, we thought it would prove our point about human cruelty, Captain Starwind said. We expected him to be harmed or killed. Instead, we watched you find him, Ambassador Korvac continued. We watched you free him from the traps. We watched you take him to safety and heal his wounds. You spent your own money on his care. High Scholar Vex added, you gave up your time and energy. You asked for nothing in return. Maya looked at each of them. You were watching the whole time? We had to, Zephyr said. When a member of the royal family is in danger, we monitor everything, but we do not interfere unless there is no other choice. So you saw everything I did? We saw you choose kindness over fear, Captain Starwind said. We saw you choose to help instead of walking away. We saw you risk your own safety for a stranger. These are the qualities we look for in a species ready to join the galactic community, Ambassador Korvac sighed. But we need to know, are you special among your people, or are there others like you? Maya thought about that. There are lots of people like me, doctors, nurses, teachers, firefighters, people who help others every day. I'm not special. You are more special than you know, High Scholar Vex said. But you are right that you are not alone. We have been watching your species for a long time. We have seen your capacity for both great cruelty and great kindness. The question, Captain Starwind said, is which side will win as your species grows and develops. Maya looked at Zephyr. What happens now? Now you must choose, Zephyr said. The Council has decided that Earth is ready for limited contact, but we need a human to help us. Someone who can serve as a bridge between our species. We are offering you the position of Earth's first galactic ambassador, Captain Starwind explained. You would live among us, learn our ways, and help guide humanity's introduction to the galactic community. Maya felt dizzy. Me? But I'm just a veterinarian. I don't know anything about politics or diplomacy. You know about healing, Ambassador Korvac said. You know about caring for others. These are the most important skills for an ambassador. But I would have to leave Earth? For a time, yes, High Scholar Vex said. You would need to learn about galactic law and customs. You would need to understand the different species and their needs. And then you would return to Earth as humanity's representative, Zephyr said. You would help your people prepare for contact with the galaxy. You would help prevent the misunderstandings that could lead to conflict. Maya thought about her life. On Earth, her empty apartment, her job search, her pile of bills. Then she thought about all the wonders Zephyr had shown her in his mental images. If I say no, then we will find another way, Captain Starwind said. But it may take much longer. And there is no guarantee the next opportunity will be as good as this one. Maya looked at each of the beings standing before her. They were offering her a chance to represent all of humanity, to help her entire species take its place among the stars. I'm scared, she said honestly. That is wise, Zephyr said. This is a big responsibility, but I believe you can handle it. Why me? Because you saved my life without asking what you would get in return, Zephyr said. Because you treated me with kindness even when I was strange and frightening. Because you have a healer's heart. Maya took a deep breath. She thought about all the animals she had helped over the years. She thought about how good it felt to ease pain and save lives. This was just bigger, much bigger. If I do this, she said, will it help humanity? Will it make things better for my people? That depends on you, High Scholar Vex said. But yes, we believe it will. Your species has great potential. With proper guidance, they could become valuable members of the galactic community. Maya looked at Zephyr one more time. "Will you help me?" "I will be your guide and your friend," Zephyr promised, "just as you were mine." Maya Rodriguez, unemployed, veterinarian, took a deep breath and made the biggest decision of her life. "I'll do it." Maya's first day aboard the Eternal Dawn was overwhelming. Zephyr's ship was enormous, bigger than any building she had ever seen. The walls seemed to be made of living light, and the floors felt warm under her feet. "This is your room, Zephyr," sighed, leading her to a door that opened at her approach. Inside was a space larger than her entire apartment back on Earth. The bed was huge and soft. A wall of windows showed the stars streaming past as they traveled through space. "It's beautiful," Maya said, trying not to let her voice shake. "But I don't know if I belong here." "You belong wherever you choose to be," Zephyr said gently. "And right now, we need you here." Maya's training began immediately. Every morning, she studied galactic law with High Scholar Vex, the energy being taught her about the hundreds of different species in the galaxy and their various customs. "Never touch a crystalline being without permission," Vex explained. "It causes them physical pain. Always bow to members of the avian collective. They consider it a sign of respect." In the afternoons, Ambassador Korvac taught her about trade and diplomacy. His crystal body would flash different colors as he spoke, showing his emotions. "The key to successful diplomacy," he said, "is understanding what each species values most. Some care about honor, others about profit, some about family. Humans seem to value individual freedom above all else." "Is that bad?" Maya asked. "Not bad, just different. But it can cause problems when you meet species that value community over individual needs." Captain Starwind taught her about galactic technology and medicine. Maya was amazed to learn that many species had completely different ways of healing. "The thermal people use heat and light," Starwind explained. "The aquatic races use sound and water pressure. Your human medicine is actually quite advanced for such a young species." "Really?" Maya felt a spark of pride. "Oh, yes. Your surgery techniques are very innovative, and your understanding of animal biology is excellent. That's why we think you'll make a good ambassador." Maya learned fast. She had always been good at studying, and she was motivated to do well. But her real test came 2 months into her journey. The ship received a distress call from a mining colony on the edge of known space. A strange disease was killing the workers. The local doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong. "We should respond," Captain Starwind said at the emergency meeting. "But our medical team has never seen this species before. We don't know their biology well enough to help." "What species are they?" Maya asked. "The Nokari." "They're reptilian, but they breathe methane instead of oxygen. They have 3 hearts and scales that change color based on their emotions." Maya thought about this. "That sounds like some of the lizards I've treated on Earth. Different chemistry, but similar basic structure." "You think you could help?" Zephyr asked. "I don't know, but I'd like to try." The mining colony was on a planet that was mostly rock and poisonous gas. Maya had to wear a special suit that let her breathe and protected her from the harsh environment. The Nokari were unlike anything she had ever seen. They were tall and thin, with scales that shifted from green to blue to purple. When they saw Maya, their scales turned bright orange. "They're scared," the translator told her. Orange means fear in their color language. Maya approached slowly, the way she would with a frightened animal. "I'm here to help," she said softly. The lead doctor was a Nokari named Thesk. His scales were mostly gray, which meant he was very sick himself. "We don't understand this disease," he said through the translator. "It started 3 weeks ago. First the workers got tired, Then they stopped eating. Now they're dying. Maya examined the sick Nokari. Their scales were dull, and their breathing was labored. She took samples of their blood and tissue, using tools Captain Starwind had given. Tell me about their work, Maya said. What do they do in the mines? They dig for rare crystals. The crystals are deep underground, in very hot caves. How hot? Hot enough to melt metal. Maya thought about this. And they started getting sick. 3 weeks ago? Yes, right after they opened a new section of the mine. I need to see that section. The new mine tunnel was incredibly hot, even through Maya's protective suit. But she noticed something the Nokari miners had missed. There was a strange fungus growing on the walls, near the crystal deposits. That's not supposed to be there, Thesk said when Maya showed him the samples. Back in the medical bay, Maya studied the fungus under a microscope. It looked familiar. She had seen something similar in earth lizards that lived near hot springs. I think I know what's wrong, she told the medical team. This fungus produces a toxin that affects the nervous system. On Earth, we treat it with a combination of antibiotics and immune system boosters. But we don't have those medicines here, one of the doctors said. No, but we can make them. The basic ingredients should be available in any well-stocked medical facility. It took 3 days to synthesize the medicine Maya needed. During that time, more Nokari got sick. Maya worked around the clock, using her knowledge of Earth veterinary. Medicine to create treatments for alien biology. You're guessing, one of the alien doctors said. You don't really know if this will work. All medicine is educated guessing, Maya replied. The important thing is to try. The first Nokari to receive the treatment was a young miner named Kess. His scales were almost black with sickness. Maya gave him the injection and waited. For 6 hours, nothing happened. Then, slowly, color began to return to Kess's scales. His breathing improved. His eyes became brighter. It's working, Thesk said, his own scales turning bright gold with joy. Over the next week, Maya treated every sick Nokari on the colony. All of them recovered. The ones who weren't too sick got better within days. Even the sickest ones, who had been near death, began to improve. How did you know what to do? Thesk asked Maya as she prepared to leave. I didn't really, Maya admitted, but I've treated similar problems in Earth animals. I just had to adapt what I knew to work for. Your biology. You saved our lives, Thesk said. All of us. We will not forget this. When Maya returned to the Eternal Dawn, she found that word of her success had spread throughout the ship. Crew members who had barely spoken to her before now smiled and nodded when she passed. You did something remarkable, Zephyr told her. The Nokari are not part of the main galactic community. They're usually ignored by the larger powers. But you treated them with the same care you would give anyone. Of course I did. They were sick. They needed help. That's exactly why you're perfect for this job, Captain Starwind said. You don't see aliens or humans or different species. You just see people who need help. High Scholar Vex had been unusually quiet since Maya's return. Finally, she spoke. I have been in contact with the Galactic Council, she said. They are very impressed with your actions at the mining colony. They want to accelerate your training. What does that mean? It means we think you're ready to return to Earth, Zephyr said, ready to begin preparing your people for contact with the galaxy. Maya felt a mix of excitement and terror. Already? But I've only been here a few months. You've learned more in these months than some ambassadors learn in years, Ambassador Korvac said. And you've proven that you can handle crisis situations. The Nokari have already sent word about you to other species, Captain Starwind added. They're calling you the healer from the young world. You're becoming famous. Maya looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, her home. Her people were waiting, not knowing that first contact was about to happen. "What if I mess up?" she asked. "Then you'll learn from your mistakes and do better next time," Zephyr said. "That's what makes humans special. You don't give up." Maya took a deep breath. She thought about the scared, unemployed veterinarian who had found a wounded dragon in the woods. That person seemed like a stranger now. "When do we leave for Earth?" "Tomorrow." Zephyr said, "Are you ready?" Maya Rodriguez, Earth's first galactic ambassador, smiled. "I'm ready." Maya stood on the bridge of the eternal dawn, watching Earth grow larger in the viewing window. The blue and white planet looked so small compared to the vast ships around it, but it was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. "Are you nervous?" Zephyr asked, standing beside her. "Terrified," Maya admitted. 2 years ago, I was just an unemployed vet. Now I'm supposed to represent all of humanity to the galaxy." "You'll do fine," Zephyr said. "You've already proven yourself." The 4 council ships took positions around Earth. Maya knew that governments around the world were panicking. Radar. Systems were going crazy. Military bases were on high alert. But the ships made no threatening moves. They simply waited. "It's time," Captain Starwind said. "The world leaders are gathering at the United Nations building. They're ready to meet with you." Maya put on her new clothes, a simple white dress that Zephyr's people had made for her. It was made from fabric that seemed to glow with its own light. Around her neck, she wore a small translator device that would help her communicate with anyone on Earth. "Remember," High Scholar Vex said, "speak from your heart. Tell them the truth about what you've seen and learned. And don't forget." Ambassador Korvac added, "You're not just representing Earth to the galaxy. You're representing the galaxy to Earth. Help them understand that we come in peace." Maya took a transport shuttle down to New York City. As she flew over the city, she could see crowds of people in the streets, all looking up at the sky. Some seemed scared. Others looked excited. Most just looked confused. The United Nations building was surrounded by soldiers and reporters. Maya's shuttle landed on the roof, and she was escorted inside by serious-looking men in suits. The main assembly hall was packed with world leaders, diplomats, and journalists. Maya had never seen so many important people in one place. As she walked to the podium, hundreds of cameras flashed. The room was completely silent. Maya looked out at all the faces staring at her. She thought about the scared woman who had lost her job and found a wounded dragon. She thought about everything she had learned among the stars. "Hello," she said into the microphone. Her voice echoed through the hall. "My name is Maya Rodriguez. 2 years ago, I was just a veterinarian from California. Today, I stand before you as Earth's first ambassador to the galactic community." A murmur went through the crowd. Maya continued, "I know this is hard to believe. I know many of you are scared. But I'm here to tell you that we are not alone in the universe. And the beings who share the galaxy with us want to be our friends." She told them about finding Zephyr in the woods. She told them about the Galactic Council and the hundreds of worlds that made up the galactic community. She told them about the Nilkari miners and how human medicine had saved their lives. "The galaxy is full of wonders," Maya said. "Technologies that could cure diseases, solve hunger, and help us explore the stars. But more than that, it's full of people different from us, but people just the same. They have families and dreams and hopes for the future." The Secretary General of the United Nations stood up. "What do they want from us?" "Nothing," Maya said. "They want to offer us membership in their community. They want to share knowledge and friendship. But only if we're ready. How do we know they won't attack us?" Asked the President of Russia. "Because they could have done that centuries ago," Maya replied. "They've been watching us for a long time. If they wanted to hurt us, we wouldn't be having this conversation." For the next 3 hours, Maya answered questions. Some were hostile. Some were hopeful. All of them showed that humanity was trying to understand this new reality. "What happens next?" asked the Prime Minister of Japan. "That depends on you," Maya said. "The Council is willing to begin cultural and scientific exchanges. Small steps at first. A few humans could visit other worlds. A few aliens could visit Earth. We can learn from each other. And if we say no, then they'll respect that decision. But this opportunity might not come again for a very long time." After the formal meeting, Maya spent weeks traveling around the world. She spoke to scientists who were excited about new technologies. She talked to doctors who wanted to learn alien healing methods. She met with religious leaders who wondered how this discovery would affect their beliefs. "The universe is bigger than we thought," she told a group of children at a school in Kenya. "But that just means there are more friends to make." Not everyone was happy about the news. Some people protested in the streets. Some countries wanted to build weapons to fight the aliens. But most people were curious and hopeful. 6 months after first contact, the first exchange program began. 5 humans went to live on other worlds for a year. 5 aliens came to live on Earth. Maya helped coordinate everything, making sure both sides understood each other's customs and needs. The alien visitors were carefully chosen. A crystalline artist who created beautiful sculptures from living metal. An avian scientist who studied weather patterns. A thermal engineer who could help develop clean energy. An aquatic musician whose songs could heal emotional pain. And Zephyr, who stayed as the official ambassador from the Draconic Consortium. Maya's old veterinary clinic was transformed into the Earth Galactic Medical Center. Human and alien doctors worked side by side, sharing knowledge and techniques. Diseases that had puzzled Earth doctors for centuries were cured in days. Alien medical problems that had seemed impossible were solved with human creativity. "Look at this," Dr. Kim, a human surgeon, said excitedly. "The thermal people's healing light can repair damaged nerves. We could help paralyzed patients walk again." "And your surgical techniques are amazing," replied Flame Singer, a thermal healer, so precise and careful. "My people could learn much." From this, Maya found herself busier than ever, but in the best way possible. She traveled between worlds, helping to set up new exchange programs. She worked with both human and alien doctors to develop new treatments. She helped solve disputes between species who didn't understand each other. "You've changed," Zephyr told her one evening as they walked through the medical center. "How?" "You're more confident, more sure of yourself." The scared woman who found me in the woods is gone. Maya thought about that. "I don't think she's gone. I think she just grew up. Finding you taught me that sometimes the best thing you can do is help someone, even if you're scared. And now you're helping entire worlds. We all are. Humans and aliens working together. It's what you said the Council was looking for. Proof that we could put aside our differences to help others." 5 years after first contact, Maya stood in the same United Nations building where she had first addressed the world. But this time, she wasn't alone at the podium. Beside her stood representatives from dozens of worlds. "Today, we celebrate Earth's full membership in the galactic community," she announced to the cheering crowd. "But more than that, we celebrate the friendships we've built and the lives we've saved together." In the audience, she could see humans and aliens sitting side by side. Children who had grown up learning about other worlds. Scientists who had made discoveries that would have been impossible alone. Artists who had created beautiful works by blending human and alien techniques. 5 years ago, I was an unemployed veterinarian who had lost her way, Maya continued. I found a wounded creature in the woods and decided to help. I had no idea that simple act of kindness would change everything. She looked at Zephyr, who was beaming with pride. But that's the lesson I want to share today. You never know when a small act of kindness might change the world. Every day, each of us has the chance to help someone, to make a difference, to prove that compassion is stronger than fear. After the ceremony, Maya walked through Central Park. It was the same park where she used to come when she was sad and jobless. But now it had a new section, the Galactic Friendship Garden, where plants from dozens of worlds grew together in harmony. Any regrets? Zephyr asked, joining her on a bench beside the pond. Maya thought about her old life, the small apartment, a pile of bills, the fear about her future. None, she said. Well, maybe one. What's that? I sometimes wonder what would have happened if I hadn't gone for that walk in the woods. If I hadn't heard you calling for help. Someone else would have found me eventually, Zephyr said. But would they have? Helped? I like to think so. Humans have good hearts, Maya. You proved that. You showed the galaxy that your species is ready to join the community of worlds. Maya smiled as she watched children from Earth and a dozen other worlds playing together by the pond. Human kids were teaching alien children how to feed the ducks. Alien kids were showing humans how to make music with crystals that changed color. We did good, didn't we? She said. We did very good, Zephyr agreed. And this is just the beginning. Maya Rodriguez, former unemployed veterinarian, current director of interspecies relations, watched the sunset paint the sky in colors that reminded her of distant worlds. Tomorrow, she would wake up and continue the work of building bridges between species. She would help solve new problems and make new friends among the stars. But tonight, she was content to sit in the park where her great adventure had begun, grateful for the wounded dragon who had changed her life and the lives of everyone on Earth. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and humanity was finally ready to explore it all.